Hello, this morning. Thank you for joining me. This is Shelf Life. I'm going to show you today how to make cute little masks. These are really simple. You just need a little bit of sewing skills. I would call this like a sewing level one. If you have a sewing machine, if you sew a straight line, you can do it, even though it's not very straight. Lots of them are crooked and homemade, and that's what we like. So join me. So here are some of the supplies that you'll need for this easy mask. First we have fabric. And you want to pre-wash your fabric. And this is cotton, and we have 2 layers. For an adult mask, the measurement is 6 by 9, 6 inches by 9 inches. I made this template because I was making a lot of masks for my friends and for my coworkers. We wear them to work at the library all the time. This size mask is for, it's a regular adult size. I'm pretty sure it fits mostly women and women's faces. Men's masks do have to be a little bit bigger unless they have, maybe a thinner face, or I know guys with beards are having problems too. So to make this is just a simple adult mask, and you can adjust it to your face, your friends' faces. I have made kids masks too. It's just a slight adjustment, but today we're just going to do the regular adult mask. So you'll need you got your fabric, sewing machine, pins, and we need the elastic for the ears. And this comes in a roll. You can get it at the fabric or craft store. You could get it from Amazon. And I cut them here. So for the adult mask, the elastics are 6.5 inches. Let me double check. Adult, yes, the elastic is 6.5 inches. So you just take your elastic from your long roll. I have this handy dandy big long ruler guy. Measure out 6.5, cut 2 for one mask. And what's cool about this project is you can do a whole prep day where you cut fabric, cut elastic, so that when you sit down to sew and make your projects, you can really bang out these masks pretty fast. It takes only a couple minutes to actually sew them, put them together. So we're gonna get started. We've got all our supplies. Let me show you what we're doing. So if you can see me, guys. All right. I'm gonna try to see if you can see my fabric better towards the left. Okay, here's my cut fabric. I have a stack of fabric I've already cut, because that's unfortunately not the fun part. Unless some people find it, pretty relaxing. I like to get into it. So here's some pieces. And you want to have 2 different patterns so that you know which is the outside of your mask and which is the inside. So you can choose patterns, linings, stuff like that. These are all the same kinds of fabric. I just picked different colors, like things that would match. These masks are also reversible, but of course after you wash them. So we're going to start pinning the elastic. So it's really important here. Here's my little 2 pieces of elastic. What's important is that you put the right sides together. In sewing, we call sides right and wrong. Pretty harsh, I know. This is the right side of the fabric. This is the wrong side. So just for direction purposes, right side, wrong. I'll demonstrate on maybe a brighter color. This one's a little light. So again, this is right side, wrong side. So the wrong side is the back of your fabric. The right side is what you want facing out. So with my little tiny white polka dots here, I'm not sure if you can see it too well, but this is the right side, wrong side. So it's very important, the first step, and I've done this, I've messed this up many times, and then you turn your mask inside out and you have your wrong side fabric facing out, and it's terrible. You want to put the right sides together. Right side on top of right side. You want both bright colors on the inside of your mask, because we're going to be sewing this with a tiny little hole, and then we can turn it inside out. And that's how you make a pillowcase too. So we're gonna pin our elastics. Your elastics will go on the inside, because remember, again, we're going to be turning this out inside out when we're done. Okay, so I'm going to take your one elastic, kind of stretch it a little bit. We're going to put it about a ½ inch down. Now I've been, making masks, over the summer and winter, so I can always just kind of eyeball this, but you see that? That's about ½ inch, the outside of your elastic. Push it with your finger there, hold it down, and we're going to bring it down here and twist it a little bit, another ½ inch. Okay, so the elastic's going to go on the inside of your mask. We'll flip it inside out later. So we want to fold this over. I'm going to do the first, do the first one at the top. I usually start at the top. Pin that elastic in there. And then you can open it up and check to see where our thing is. And flip this one over. And close. And pin this elastic in there. Now there's also different kinds of pins. I haven't tried them yet. They're like little clips that would work for this if you have that, if you're not into pins. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. Not really. These are my supplies. I'm not going to buy little pins even though they're cute. So just repeat on the other side. Little elastic, you want to leave a little tiny bit of the elastic sticking out of the edge of your fabric, and we'll cut that, clean it up later after we sew. Fold down. Yeah, I really had to try to slow this down and show you how to do it, because this is like automatic for me. I've been doing this for a year, so. Okay, and then towards the end, see that little tiny bit we want to just leave on the edge? Press it down. Pin your elastic. And they don't have to be, perfectly straight. It's okay if they're angled a little bit. It's okay if the fabric is pulling slightly. It is elastic. It'll ease up. So, our elastic is pinned inside of our mask. So now what we're going to do is take a slight, all my pencils are not sharpened. Oh my gosh. Now you can see your elastic is hanging out, pinned inside here. But when we're sewing, you want to make sure that you sew about a 1/4 inch seam, leave, a seam allowance. Make sure that you do not sew over your elastic. We are just trying to sew the first little part up here and the little part here. But I'm going to make a mark about 3 inches down and one here. So I'm making a small opening. That's where we're going to flip the mask inside out. So I just put a mark here and here. And this is where we're going to start sewing. We're going to sew all the way around and we're going to stop at this one. So let's get going. Start with the reverse stitch. I'm getting close here to my pin, so I'm going to take that out. And we're going to go back and forth over the elastic of, 2 or 3 times just to make it, real sturdy, because you're going to be washing these masks. They're reusable, so you want to be putting them in the wash every day. So we're just going to go back and forth over those elastics and make sure that they're really in there. Just once or twice is fine. Then we'll start long end. Keep going. And when you get to your corner, you turn. Put her down. Now, and remember, you can feel your elastic. You can feel it right here. So you need to sew just right here. Don't sew over your elastic. Only in the corners, because that's where we're attaching them. My pin can come out. I'm going to go back and forth a little bit over those corners. Make sure you don't have a hole. Okay, pin out. You're going back and forth over those corners a little bit. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Some of you will get that. Pivot. Okay, so we're at the end right here where I made my marks here and here. So this is where I started sewing, and this is where I'm going to stop. We went all the way around, and now we're going to stop right here so that we have this tiny opening so that we can flip the mask inside out. And also, again, when you end here at your end, we want to do a little reverse back and forth to end your stitch. Okay, now we're going to take the mask off the feet. My bobbin's okay. I don't know, something was up with my thread. Okay, I'm going to back up messy here. And at this point, we got like kind of a pillowcase going on. And now we can trim a little bit. Like I said, it's about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You can eyeball it, not a big deal. And you can just go ahead and cut the corners right there. Don't cut your seam. This will cut out some of the bulk of the mask and make it just fit a little better. You don't want a bunch of like things sticking out. Like here we got our inside elastics, which are currently on the outside. I also highly suggest, just as a as someone that sews but also does other crafts, you absolutely need to keep one pair of scissors just for fabric. You're welcome. Thank me later. Okay, so we trim that. And now here's the, the fun part. Also, I have one of these bamboo sticks. You can use a chopstick, you can use a hairpin. Okay, so we have our little, you saved yourself a little opening here. So you just want to pinch it, tuck in the corner, tuck in the corner. You can grab the elastic at that point. You want to be a little gentle because you don't want to like rip your seams that you just sewed. But you have your elastic here. Get the other side going. Okay, and that's the beginning of our mask here. It's a little pillowcase at this point. Now use your little bamboo or chopstick or whatever you got, and you can push out your corners. Again, very gently. You don't want to rip what you just did. Just push out the corners a little bit so it's nice. And we are going to go over to head to the ironing board, and I'm just gonna press this and we will do the pleats. Okay, at this is where you should be at this point. You got little stragglers. We'll give those a snip. And you'll need some pins. I'll show you how to do the pleats, and we're going to press this. Now first, you see you have your empty little seam here that we left. So you want to first press that down, kind of carefully seal that a little bit, just to make it a little flat. Try not to go over the elastic too much. And we will just press. Got some water here. That satisfying sizzle. Pro tip, if you want to add a little bit of, I mean teeny tiny bit of like essential oils to your water, so you can have like a little aromatherapy while you're doing this. It smells like lavender right now when I make masks. So to make the pleats, okay, there's a couple different ways to do them, but I'm going to show you this way. I think it's the easiest. If you do this a lot, you start to practice, you will get it. So you want to start up at the top. This mask is going to have 3 pleats. And when you wear the mask, you want to wear them pleats facing down. And what I mean by that is this. If you see masks, you can, I think you can wear them the other way, but I think it's recommended to wear them pleats down so that the particles that you're trying to keep out of your face don't collect in the mask. So we're going to start up here. It's about 2 inches, 1.5 inches, and I'm pulling this down and holding my fingers behind. So I'm making this little fold here. So there's the mask. I'm going to pull it down, roll it a teeny bit, and you can adjust too. I've adjusted these before. Just going to pull that down and pin. And pin the other side. So that's our first pleat. And you just do the same thing. Pick up the entire mask from the back here, just rolling it slightly right there, and pin. And your pleats do not have to be a certain size, a certain thickness. Now, there is a certain way that I like to do them, and that's about it. Because it just, I don't know, kind of feels like it's good on the face. It feels good when you look at it. You know, make sure it's just kind of straight. You want it to be pretty okay here. But they are handmade, you know, so they could be wonky a little bit, you know. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't usually press at this point because there's pins and I've melted all my pins. But if you wanted to, you can press a little bit at the end, press a little in the middle, little at the other end, just to keep you straight while you are sewing. And now we're gonna take this mask back over to the machine, sew all the way around. And making sure to go back and forth again over those pleats, over the corners. If you want to do a back and forth for a little bit, that would be really helpful. Okay, we are back here at the machine, and we are just going to start in the corner. And we're gonna go all the way around, and you could do it twice, or you could go back and forth over these pleats to make sure it's really secure. And now you have to be pretty careful when you come up, turn around to go up on the other side of the pleats, because you will be sewing in a bad direction, like oppositely. So I have this little, you know, I did buy this. It is a sewing supply. It's a bamboo stick to push down the fabric and keep those pleats down while you attempt to sew over them. It's really useful. But you can use pencil, your nail, anything. Here's our final turn. And just, you know, reverse over those corners, over those elastics. We finished. And we're just going to snip up the threads. Take out our pins. And here's your finished mask. Pleats open. Reversible. Cute. Comfortable. They're very comfy. This has been Sue. This is Shelf Life. Thanks for watching.